soaring. All you cats do is hang glide. Any questions answered? AI. Your shit is irrelevant. Ever since I started out, the smartest kids weren't getting it. Questioning how to.
Welcome. Yeah. I wanted to play another one of those little art games. The Beginner's Guide. I played it on release. Really, really loved it. Replayed it a couple times since then. It's a great game though. It's what most people would consider a walking simulator, but it's more like art than anything. So yeah, let me pull that up. If I can remember how to do this. Take like 2 days off, forget how to do the entire thing. I open Steam. I made that creme brulee, put pictures up on Twitter. Came out delicious. And it uses like such few materials that I'm definitely gonna play around with the recipe. Definitely gonna make a chocolate one. I got some kind of espresso that you use for baking, and people say it's supposed to have a chocolate hue. So I got that and cacao. And I think if I mix them together and put them in, it'll come out delicious. Anyway, yeah. Desktop full capture, right? Yeah. I think the camera placement should be fine. Oh man. Desktop audio was off, so I'm glad I realized that. I think it, right? No. I have no idea. Was it doubled or was it off? Hang on. No, it's on. Okay. So I'm gonna change the color of those lights behind me a little bit. That's one thing that I enjoy having the ability to do. It's turn on and off my lights remotely, and there's a bedside. It's I don't know. I feel like maybe we kind of gave up too much to get that. Alright, is the game running? It says it's running, but where is it? Stop, where is it? Bear with me here. I don't see it running anywhere. It doesn't appear to be running. So maybe you just close Steam altogether. The fuck is everything? Oh, that's the game. Okay, wonderful. Right after I close Steam. Still running, that's fine. Oh man, it's been a while. How long? I think I probably last played this during the pandemic. Right? When did this come out? Okay, yeah, this came out in 2015, and I know I bought it on release. Because I really like the Stanley Parable. Same people made that, yeah. But man, I can't believe it's a decade old at this point. That's insane. Well, I hope everyone likes it. Turn up the audio over here just to make sure.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
During this playthrough, I don't want to interrupt it, and it's such a gripping narrative that what are you gonna do?
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
So this is the second game that the creator he's talking about created, the first being the Counter-Strike level. I like the Counter-Strike level though, the boxes in the air, that could create some cool gameplay elements.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
I'm not saying
For
only
instance,
that.
you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Honestly, no complaints.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Alright, so what we just did was an edited version where he falls over and dies, and I guess this is the original version of the game. This game is really
The beam
trippy.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something
Is
human
it, though?
about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I like how each game has a timeline too. Like, I haven't been paying attention to that up to this point, so I don't remember what the first two were, but... So, if you're watching this, whoever,
So try walking backwards.
I can't walk backwards, I'm trying to. Or, well, wait, no, I can't walk forwards, left or right, but backwards works.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards. So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
I don't know why more people did not talk about this game. Like, you never see a game like this, and for people to dismiss it as a walking simulator. That was one of the earliest Twitter posts I made, I think. Was I've always disliked the term walking simulator. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. And I still can't move any direction but backwards. The future is always behind her. How will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay, instinctively, the first thing I tried to do was move backwards in this one. You are now entering. This is like, almost Silent Hill vibes.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
December 08. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Okay, I gotta pull chat up just to make sure I'm not missing anything over here. Alright. Back to the game.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I mean, that's a philosophical question in itself, is it not? Like, if it's okay to alter someone else's work. I mean, people bash George Lucas for altering Star Wars after it already came out, and I get it. Honestly, I'm probably on the side that art that's already been released should definitely be left alone. But this would probably take like an hour and a half or like 2 hours to actually get to this door and continue the game, so for the sake of the stream, you know. I did press enter when I played it on my own. I didn't walk all the way up that. Stand out next to me. I'm not going to read any of these, but feel free to read any of these.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Ideas for this game is nothing but giant.
Coda would
boxes.
often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
It doesn't give you the time to actually walk around and look at every single one. It's kind of a bummer. Oh, I didn't mention, I made a Patreon. I probably should mention that, right? Yeah, I mean, it's like $5. I want to do like a monthly art project. And if it's like feasible, like, you know, like colored pencils, like markers or some shit like that, I can actually stream the creation of the art, or even do like some Bob Ross type shit. I would like to keep it like absolutely free, but it's like materials of that, until I get people watching, is actually going to like be.
Well, this is new
kind
for
of a
Coda.
financial
It's an actual
brutal
puzzle.
Loss.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
But it would be fun, especially if you announce it like a week or two beforehand. Give people the time to like maybe get the supplies themselves. But I described it on there. I don't know how to proceed. It's been too long since I played it. Yeah.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Really
So
like
that seems
the,
to be it, right?
It's
You
almost
walk
like
down a corridor,
angelic
you solve the
music.
puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to
Nice
modify the game
chords.
again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Wait. So the original game is just this. But the modified version of the game, the person who is speaking is presenting us with is this.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior, and then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
No exiting.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Into 09. The great and lovely descent.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things
I
that it
never
does
paid
well,
attention.
and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what
I'm
kinds of
not like a
creative work they're
geoguessr
going to end up
person,
making.
but like I'm sure
You might
somebody
consider paying
knows
attention to
who
the
that is.
architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Okay, I haven't said anything, but I'm just instinctively, the path made sense. It looks like stairs. And you put a gamer in front of some stairs with no other direction. That's why I spent an hour fucking trying to climb the stairs in Mario 64 as a kid. I was home from school. I think we never owned it, I don't believe. Well, later, like, I bought it, once I had, like, a PayPal and could use eBay. As a kid, we didn't own it. We rented it, so I stayed home from school, sick. And I distinctly remember putting a lot of time into trying to climb that stairway in Mario 64. Come on, okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure the narrator's gonna, like, come back and say some stuff. Start parkouring down. 360 no scope that shit, bro. I could never do that. It's one of those skills that I just didn't ever invest any time into learning. It's the 360 no scope. What is this? Okay, so I can't get past this little wall here, which you can probably see. Still very ominous music throughout this entire one as well.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
I mean,
this is something
the kind of thing that would be in an art museum,
you know,
though, like,
whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
I mean, I would
There
probably too. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I'm way too paranoid to open anything on my computer. Aside from uTorrent Lite, of course. For things I already
It's the
legally
puzzle
own
again,
and just need a
with the
backup
exact
copy
same
of
solution as the
naturally.
last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
You there? Did you come from
Here,
up above?
Coda
What was
begins
up
using
there?
a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
So where did I come, or did you come from above? What was up there? Yeah, there was a world stamped with whiteness. That's pretty true. There was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Also true. There were these floating colored blocks. What was up there? Kind of everything, right? Yes, that's the world above. You've been there. This is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. I prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. No, shouldn't tell people everything, probably, right? Like, I do, but I don't recommend doing much of anything that I do. But are you? You don't understand. We are trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. You think you want to get through, but trust me, you don't. Let me describe it for you. Let me tell you all about what is over there. I will tell you how to solve it. I would say probably safest to just, like, describe it, right? Because if you tell somebody you don't want to go there, the first instinct is that, yeah, I do want to go there, so, yeah. That isn't possibly enough. I need to actually be there. I cannot simply be told what it is. I must see myself. I must escape this prison. There must be an ending. Get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? I don't want to lie. You want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the blank space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Space between the doors. Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange. Oh, the area with the like fog on the ground. That's the space between the doors that they're talking about. It is kind of weird. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. Creepy, bro.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level. It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you've seen are left by other players. Dark Souls came out before that, right? Demon Souls definitely did, right? Before 09? Yeah. It's like 06, I think. Nice room. Nah. I do wish more games would have mechanics
So
like
first
this.
off, I'm sure you
This
can
is,
deduce this,
like,
but this
that's
game
what
is
that's
not
what drew
connected
me
to the
into
internet.
Dark Souls
All of the
series.
notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
I got
This was
really
actually the
baked.
first game of his that I ever played. This was
And
shortly
was-
after
and
I met
started
him
playing through
at a weekend
Bloodborne
game
at a
jam
time
in
when I really
Sacramento,
needed
where I grew up.
something.
I saw him working on this very level, and it was just
the
so
messages
different
in
from
it
anything
just
that anyone else was
captivated
doing.
me
So
so
right away
much.
I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Dropped like 90
In retrospect,
hours
I
in
think
that
I was
game
probably
in,
a
like,
bit too pushy,
couple months.
trying to get his attention. I was over enthusiastic.
No, probably
But he was
more
very
than that.
gracious about
It's
it
90
and
hours
very
first
patient with
playthrough.
me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Cool cavern, bro.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work.
Wait,
I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it
Just
felt
so
like they let me have that connection.
let me tell you.
I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world, and then I feel less lonely too.
I never want to see again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. Crying down planet Jesus. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. That one a little off. What the sh? Can assure you, guarantee that there's an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. There are people that would spend hours looking through every little bit of this. There are also people that would just dig through the game files and find the acorn and find where it's located through that. Looking for someone to talk with. Refuse to believe. Nah, you shouldn't. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. That does feel like a Dark Souls message. Go back. Don't listen to him. Free t-shirt. Or why you so? Oh, that's an old meme. If you don't know why you so, you're pretty young, probably. Next game includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Open Sesame. I remember Open Sesame from the Bugs Bunny cartoons. So you can't open it. Yeah, we'll meet the person who made this. I hope I do. That would be nice. I really respect, is it Davey Reedon? Stanley Parable and this, both just phenomenal games. Raise the bar. It's a real good feeling. Not entirely true. I mean, you do feel good when you help people, but there's so much more to it than that. They keep going down. Very much to be desired. Congratulations. I don't really know where to go with this. You and me both. We can go in here, I think. I do kind of want to read every message, but this is, I am compelled. Stop, turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. Oh, all the way in with no exit plan, am I right? Talk about me that way. Accurate.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
This voice is, reminds me of, Hellblade. Wish there were notes in the real world. Like, little notes that everybody could see, like little street notes, like sidewalk. That'd be a cool use of technology.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Been here literally an hour. Halt. Makes sense. Second door. Another halt.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
It takes a minute. This one is kind of eerie. It's weirdly more eerie than Dark Souls, I think. There, please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
I don't know where that is either.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
So this is made by the original creator. This isn't edited by the person presenting it. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? About a TV with surround sound, refrigerator, giant hole in the ground. In the center of the room, probably a TV, right? I mean, I put my TV, like, I'm not gonna reveal where I put my TV, that's a little too personal. What about along the wall of the room? I definitely don't put my TV along the wall of the room. Like, I want to be abundantly clear. What about along the wall? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. It's really like a washing machine. Or 10 stoves lined up along the wall. Yeah, fuck it. Go with the horse, I guess. Or chairs. Sure. Probably better, honestly. Light up the room a bit. A skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. Thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric, 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Put 5 Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah, definitely Tesla coils. Are you kidding? Or the standard lamp. You already have a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? Sure, none of this is making... I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making a difference. Tables were invented in 1935. That's definitely that's like the Ralph Wiggum choice. I feel like. I'm gonna do Who Are You?
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
And it just black screen, like... This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Okay, now we're cooking with the olive oil. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in the room off, then turn it back on. If we're avoiding prison, I will turn off. Where is this? Now what? Back on. Go to the left side, so if I move it over a little. Finally touch the shells. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Okay. This way. Turn. Oh, it's back to the earlier
And of
one.
course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick for
It is a
few
nice
more of these.
skybox, even.
He really unloaded on this
Even when
prison
he
idea.
puts it
There's
like that.
nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
It's me. I'm you after you escape from prison. This is a lot. I remember playing through this. We're trapped in this prison.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
That's where I am right now.
All of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
What's it like to escape? I'm already forgetting what being in prison was like. It's strange, in a way. I kind of miss being in prison. It feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Weirdly, probably it's the third one. Feel any different? I definitely feel different. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and that things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It actually does change. I don't feel like the same person. So the answer to this question, personally, is I feel super connected to, like, the person I was as a child. And then I kind of lost myself for a while as a teenager. And so, like, I'm the same person I was back then as a child, being back then. That's awful. It's the worst thing I can imagine. Don't worry, it's actually not a bad thing, I promise. If you're me, then how did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? I did get a call. That's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? Me how I felt about being in prison. They just talked to me for a while. I feel like probably sincerity, right? Like that's how I've been living. What? That freed you? How does that work? I have no idea, dude. Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just be sincere, it will make sense. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Definitely an ambiance in this dude's games. My goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. I'd be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows, lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
The music in this one is so calming. Did like cleaning my own home. I might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Speaking of demons, somebody's put this couch all in a mess. Why don't you come out and straighten these pillows here? It's all the drink. Compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. No. No, stupid, sorry. These dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? I do love washing dishes, quite honest. I need to wash dishes right now. I'm gonna do that after this stream. But like, it's meditative. You put on music, you just... This time I check the tub being clean. You scrub it down as best you can. You don't need to be perfect. We're all just human.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
This is this easy to clean. Let me tell you something. In your lifetime, you're gonna clean a lot of houses, and among all of those, few of them will stick out as truly wonderful, beautiful experiences. None of them will be the ones that were easy. Just something to think about.
I know that Coda really liked this game.
In the bedroom.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
One's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt weird about saying that. I get it. That's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. You're right, that's pretty cheesy. There's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Bro, I could do this for like probably a couple hours with this music.
I'm glad he made this.
Did you go over
I'm
and
glad he
straighten
found
up
some
a bit?
peace.
You can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch.
But,
Do
of
you
course,
enjoy
it
this?
can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive. Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This one gets a bit goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. Came here to become perfect. Workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know is so well developed as a person that it make you feel disgust for yourself, or to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. It doesn't sound great. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it effortlessly. This is easy, so easy, so easy.
About halfway through the game, the
Perfect
perspective
is
shifts.
This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort?
And you
Way
play
more.
as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
As the teacher, it gives you the option to say kids should not follow their dreams. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? Well, let me tell you right now. Also, really props on the art for this section, because that black hole is. I can't like get any closer, but like for a game where they're making like Counter-Strike maps in it, like this is impressive, no doubt. Let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you, it's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. If it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself by trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. understand that you won't be happy to see about this. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? You. Just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy? There is no truth. There is no path. I don't like any of the answers, but there is no path is like closest, I feel like, to like a Buddhist kind of interpretation on things. I think. What if I'm not a good teacher? Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true. Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out, I gotta do that. Nothing, no one. It's coming for you, it's going to destroy everyone around him, right?
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
I vaguely remember this one, so that means it's definitely interesting. Performances begin places, please. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. Woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. It's your one chance to learn from something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something. Yes. That's it. It's not a conversation. You need to converse with her, be a human being. And why I gotta lean against the wall to talk to her? I like you. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. Here are all of my hopes and dreams is probably closest to the way I interact most of the time on dating apps. In the past, I have been a shitty person at times, though, and just said some really terrible things to people, and I do regret those. That's not what I said at all. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's just that you need a better feel of the setting. A lot of people around us. Give you some props to work with, these cones that bounce when you touch them. Represent people nearby, and I'll go talk to her again. So these will represent people, which makes it easier. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. I bet you've learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? I'm sure she worked hard. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. I realized how important this was for me. I'll never get another opportunity like this. Everything was riding on this. Wise, happy, focused. I'm gonna try something. Try stepping back from the stage. guess, this actually looks like a hallway that I had to walk down every day at this job I worked at an art museum. Like, it looks exactly like it, aside from missing the windows and the...
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with his person, to bring him closer. But what can you do?
Man, this game...
After this, Coda went off and took
It is
another 5
unbelievable.
months to make a new game.
Does he know me? Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Oh, man. I don't have a chat with a talk feature. It's probably gonna feel like cheating, but I'm gonna keep my eyes open to play the video game. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember this. I can't play this eyes closed. I can't see. What's going on? It looks like we're about to crash. Tell me how to solve this. I'm gonna be killed by a giant door, apparently.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
I know there is a solution to something. Go upstairs, man. The only way out is to speak something that is honest and bursting with creative energy. It is honest, though. I don't think I did it fast enough. Yes. Try again. No, it's not. Don't be like that, game. I disagree. Fine. I'll play your game. Can't keep making these. My work is always fun. Oh, okay. He's tired of making games at this point, right? That's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Keep going, keep talking. I can't figure out how to say the thing. I thought it was going to be easy. doing it. It's working. While I'm stuck in it, I have to work harder. We're going to be okay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
At this point. Hello, where am I? What is this? Where am I? What is this? Oh, what is this? The music is, not sure. Sounded happy at first, but now I'm not sure. Where did this island go from? Get out of here. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. Whenever I try to create, I feel empty. I have nothing left to give in my work. To my work. I mean, I do feel like I could give more, but that's probably the closest. Oh no. That delay is good. I like that. Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. Trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Oh man. Gotta go to training response. Trying to find... Might play Counter-Strike after, I don't know. I haven't played with that dude since that one game where I met him, and boy did we have a laugh. It is on stream. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Where is it? I know where it is. It isn't far. What? You have to take me to it. I need to see it to know why it stopped. You probably can't find out. You gotta see it to know why it stopped, right?
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I think any artist would understand why. You have to not be an artist to not understand why. If you help me solve the puzzle, we'll find the machine. Deal? It doesn't matter what I say, does it? We're gonna end up there one probably. And it says deal anyway. Okay.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet. And so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Now you have to press the switch on the inside, but you gotta close the door to do that, right? Close, yeah. I actually kind of forgot for a minute. Now press the switch here. So simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
There's no machine here. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is very easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time. I guess, sure. That feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Game development is very difficult. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. I'm constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. Stand of whiteness, press the switch here.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked
Things
really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are
Such a
not
simple
worth
solution.
this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Where's the machine? Patience, you have to trust. Promise this will work, please continue. It always pays off eventually. I certainly hope so.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
There is no shame, no fear, no guilt. I was saved by my work. I believe this unquestioningly. I am a vessel for certainty. And the only thing I really believe unquestioningly is like faith, religion-wise. Saved by my work. So I'm free. Free.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. The Machine. This is already kind of brutalist architecture feeling, kind of. I'm glad to see you've arrived safely. Captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. Begin the interrogation whenever you like. Tend to be quick. Very good. Let's be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. One thing you should know about the machine, it calls itself Coda.
And of course, it's the machine.
Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. They're all saying the machine's pretty important, so I guess it was keeping them alive. Can you imagine what pain you put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through whatever did. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Door number 1. So here's what you need to go out and apologize to them. To admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. And so on. Speak to them for you. My followers are my friends. Definitely friends. I don't like the whole follower. All across social media. There's followers everywhere. It's it falls on me to deliver bad news. I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. Either I'm true. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We'll find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me. We will destroy the machine. Follow me. We will destroy everything that the machine has created. Definitely just the machine itself. Don't start destroying art. That's where the machine is. What is this effect?
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Yeah, I know. Composites. Run out of ammo. Wait.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
So this guy never intended to show anyone his games. The narrator just found him real swell.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon. Oh, I forgot I was even still carrying that. How do I put it down? It doesn't let me. I must destroy.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
This game is heavy.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
I'm gonna do this for a minute. Still good, right? No. Okay, alright, fine.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually
ruined
end.
The house cleaning game.
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
6 months.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress.
He really didn't want this guy.
And it's
to
scary for me,
play
the
through
idea
this
of
game.
Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them. I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
This is really surreal.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt...
Making these games for you.
It felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
He's making the games for himself, right? As is a true artist.
And the people who played them,
French.
they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Would it make you any happier if you stopped taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours, violating a boundary that keeps me safe. You stop changing my games, stop adding lampposts to them. So he was adding stuff to the games too, to make them more into the game that he wanted to play.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Low points are a part of the artistic process. If anybody is thinking about creating art. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. Is that this doesn't make sense to you yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. The lack of any musical or ambient accompaniment is unsettling. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want.
Feels like the room is getting
I'm
smaller.
sorry. I'm sorry. Please. Start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Epilogue. What, train station or something? What is this? Courthouse? Some kind of official type of building? I don't know. Train station.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Do I have to get on? I think, I can jump from, no I can't, I have to go all the way back, dude. Alright, where do I go? Oh, wait, that door's open. Okay, no, I'm just really dumb.
Solution.
I do wish more games would do effects like that.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games,
where they kind of mess with perspective.
maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
And I always really like it when they do.
I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
This is also like perfectly paced game, like start to finish. I mean, if you've been watching it, like you know, but if you're new to the stream.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Do not remember this. I think gotta drop down the hole in the center there. Wait, can I not get up? Back up that? Oh, dude, that'd be too funny. No, I can get up there. I just gotta walk around, I think. What is down here? Oh, it's a God of War 133 elevator. Demons are gonna start dropping down soon, I'm sure of it. I've seen a Medusa or two. Is that from the beginning? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Who was that? The first game? After the map, I think. Yeah. We know what to do here. Now I'm wondering, is this like an actual level that was crafted? shortest credits ever for like one of the best games. Like, I can't play Counter-Strike after this. That takes the music away. I was hoping the music would stay and I could just talk over it. Alright, back into it. Oh wait, I got it. Yeah. But yeah, really deeply layered game, philosophically, thematically. Definitely just requires a lot of time to think, you know. I remember after I played this game, I watched everything I could find on the internet about it, like video essays, all that. I might have liked it even more than the Stanley Parable, which is probably like blasphemy to some people. But don't get me wrong, Stanley Parable is like top tier. I would play it on stream, but I just played it like recently, and that's a game I can only play once every couple of years. Like this game, I can really only play once every couple of years once I forget enough of the narrative experience. I think that's gonna be it for tonight, though. If you join me here or later, if you contribute to the Patreon, if you set up a YouTube channel where I want to put some of these, like I'll probably upload this one. You can find that. Alright, thanks. Peace.